Hi, my name is Lucy Williams and this mini video blog is going to be about suicide. Obviously this topic is in the papers at the moment, what with the suicide of Robin Williams, and even though I can't say exactly how he was feeling or what he was thinking at the time that he chose to commit suicide, I can talk about what it felt like for me when at the age of 13 I was suicidal. Most people will be thinking now, how can you possibly feel suicidal at 13? And to be fair, that's a pretty good question. But at the time when I was 13, I was being bullied at school. And even though I don't believe that caused my depression, I think it was always something that was in my makeup, the way I was made and the way my brain works. I do think it did trigger suicidal feelings. At the time I felt like I couldn't get out of the situation. I tried things like, telling my parents and telling teachers and trying to move tutor group and all those kind of things, and I couldn't do any of those things. I didn't know what to do. When you're 13, the only thing you know is school, and you can't imagine what your life's going to be like once you get out of it. And obviously at 13 I still had several years to go, and I didn't think there was any other way out. To be honest, the only reason why I didn't actually commit suicide was simply because I was too stubborn. And selfish, actually. I think I was selfish for staying alive rather than being selfish for committing suicide. Because at the time when I was suicidal, I thought that everything would be better if I wasn't here. Not just for me, but for everyone else, because I was crying and saying all these things in front of my 10-year-old sister, like I wanted to die, I didn't want to be here. And no 10-year-old wants to hear that ever, let alone your big sister who you worship the ground she walks on. You just don't want to hear it. And I was causing so many problems, like I had to go to counsellors and anxiety management groups and hospital and all sorts of things because of the depression. I just wasn't a very nice person with depression. I wasn't a very nice person to be around. I was nasty because I was so angry and I hurt so much inside that I felt that I was being a horrible person to be around, and that why would anyone want me here? That if I wasn't here, then that meant that people could get on with their lives without me troubling them. And that's what I thought. I thought if I commit suicide, I was doing everyone else a favour. But my selfish side, and I do regard it as my selfish side, said, you know what, stuff it. I don't care, I'm going to carry on anyway, and I'm going to show them all that I could be a better person, that I can do this and I can do that. And that's why really I never did commit suicide, and I consider that as the most selfish thing I've ever done. Not the committing suicide, but the not committing suicide. And maybe that's a bit odd for people to hear, but even now, I'm 29, I still think of myself as being selfish for staying alive. And even now, when I have suicidal thoughts, when I have really bad times with my depression, I feel like I preserve myself, not because I want to be here, because I don't, because I find life hard. The simple things that people seem to do without any problem seem to be a huge task for me to do. And I still don't want to be here, but I'm here now, funnily enough, because I know the pain that it will cause my sister, my husband, and my parents for me not to be here. And I know that, but when you have really bad depression and you get into that point where you can't see out, the demons come and they're not going to go away, and the pain you have is just unbelievable. I wouldn't wish it on the bullies that triggered my depression, let alone anybody else. It's hard to see out of that hole, to think that you're never going to feel that pain again, but you know you're going to, because even if you get through that time, in a few days, a few weeks, a few months, even a few years, you'll feel that way again, and that is the way it's going to be for the rest of your life. So yeah, I feel sad when I hear about Robin Williams, and I completely understand why he couldn't go any further. At 63, he'd battled depression for all that time. And the idea of me battling this until I'm 63 is just something I don't even want to think about.